I'm Yoko.
And I'm Nox.
And this is
the RNS Podcast.
Bum bum.
Bum, bum, ba-dum. Hey guys, welcome back to the RNS Podcast.
So we just came back from the movies not too long ago.
Yeah, we have recently seen a couple movies back to back, so we kind of wanted to just, I guess, go return to form. Our first podcast was about movie review, so
Here we go.
Yeah, we're going with another one. I don't know. I kind of like doing. I don't know. For me, I like analyzing movies the same way I kind of like analyze books and breaking them down and talking about them.
And I like to, analyze video games and how they rage.
Yeah, so I like doing movie reviews. So I figure while there's some good movies we wanted to see, we keep just talking about them. And you guys can, again, let us know if there are movies you want us to see or review by asking us on Twitter or on Anchor.
Oh, yes. If you're on Anchor, you can leave us voice messages. So we can actually hear and discuss.
Yeah, so, Anchor, Twitter, or our YouTube channel. Either way, one way you can find a way to ask us about stuff. Or Facebook page, exactly. Multiple ways you guys can get in contact with us. But the two movies that we wanted to talk about that we recently saw are Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining, and Maleficent.
And we have something else we want to talk about
which is
later
sequel
in the
to
episode.
Maleficent.
Maleficent 2, which is
and sequel to Maleficent.
And something else we want to talk about later on in the episode that is kind of stupid. Kind of really stupid.
Yeah, but
we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, bear with us. We'll get there.
So, this should go without saying, but there's going to be at least mild spoilers for these movies as we talk about.
There's going to be total spoilers.
Okay, there's total spoilers upcoming.
Total spoilers. How can we talk about these movies without the spoilers?
And sometimes people do spoiler-free reviews, but I feel like you can't really get into the heart of anything, and which I want to.
Dr. Sleep's been out for a weekend.
Only one weekend, but Maleficent's been out for.
Hey, that theater was pretty empty when we went in there, so I'm assuming most people saw it day one.
Maybe. I don't know. But actually, the first thing I want to talk about, maybe people didn't see it at all based on the reviews that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I guess a C ranking isn't necessarily like a bad ranking.
They gave it a C?
But most places I've seen have ranked it like 3 out of 5, where they gave it a 75%, or even I saw a 60% in one place. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Dr.
Shame. It's a shame because I like Dr. Sleep better than I like Joker.
That's what I was going to say. The first thing I wanted to talk about is, do we agree with this rating, this ranking? And clearly your answer is no.
No. Oh, God, no. Like, I love Joker, but I like Dr. Sleep a little above Joker, actually. It's more satisfying.
So what do you mean by satisfying? In what way is it satisfying?
In Joker, stupid people still make stupid mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But in Dr. Sleep, no one makes any stupid mistakes in Dr. Sleep. Like, at all. It's really quite, for a thriller, it's really quite great. Like, I didn't read Dr. Sleep, the book, if there is a book.
Yeah, it's a book.
I haven't read it, but if this is an accurate, at least somewhat faithful interpretation of what happens in his story, then I need to read this book because holy crap, like, this is great.
Yeah, so we're basing our opinions based on just the movie alone, not on what was in the book or the content of the book. So, but I was also going to say I disagree with a 75% rating. And then I also agreed with you at the time when we watched it that it was just infinitely more satisfying because the main characters, I should say, weren't making dumb decisions. The specific event we're talking about, and again, spoilers, is when Danny,
the kid from The Shining,
who's now all grown up.
Before we get into that, mm-hmm. This movie, to get you guys to see it, it's Star Wars. That's all it is. Obi-Wan Kenobi has this young, gifted Padawan that's the strongest in the Force that's ever seen, and he is teaching this child the ways of the Force.
I don't know if that'll get everyone to go see it, because for me, that wouldn't get me to go see it as a sparkling review. But that's what he got out of it, that it was like if
Anakin went right.
Anakin went right.
That's the movie of if Anakin went right.
Well, what I was trying to say is that the specific event I'm thinking of where the characters weren't making stupid mistakes, as soon as Dan got on board with helping Abra.
Her name is Abra.
Yes, the little girl's name is Abra.
So you know she's going to evolve into a Kadabra and
wow,
Alakazam.
Thank you.
So you know she's powerful. She's going to be an Alakazam, so you know she's powerful.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so once he gets on board with helping her, he essentially lures all of the villains to one place in the forest, and there's no long drawn-out sequence where something stupid goes wrong and Abra gets kidnapped at least in that moment. He immediately gets a gun and opens fire on these people and wipes out the majority of the villain population.
Majority? All but one.
All but one. Well, all but two. Because the other guy had...
Everyone who showed up.
Yeah, everyone who showed up. Wipes them out. Just completely just headshot. Did not waste any time. He was like, I'm not going to have a moral quandary over like whether these people are still human or not. I'm not going to sit here and hesitate before I shoot. I'm not going to negotiate with them first. No, hid behind a tree. They walked up to her and shot him in the forehead. And I was like, how practical, Dan. You know, you saved so much time.
It was great. And people, I guess, won't like that. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. For so many people would say, "Oh, I'm tired of all the tropes in horror movies, all the tropes in thriller movies where the protagonists have to do something stupid to draw the tension." No, they made a plan and they executed said plan without a hitch, and it was flawless except for the end. But that's because they didn't know the abilities. So, what happened was, the enemies are basically other people with the shine, basically. And they all eat, how do you put it? They're like, I guess they're like vampires.
They're like vampires.
Where they eat other children's shine, for the most part.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, well, I think it's stronger with children. You see it more; it fades away, it gets worse as they get older. But if you haven't seen the movie, it's just like, you know, it's like magic powers, and they eat other people with magic powers, essentially.
Yeah. So, and you do that via pain. Pain purifies, apparently. So they torture them, and the more they torture them, the more the power leaks out of them, which is in the form of wispy smoke. Which then the bad guy, steam, smoke. They
call it's like steam. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they breathe it in, and that's how they sustain their life energy. It doesn't make them immortal. They still age, but very, very slowly.
Live long, eat well.
Exactly. And the oldest one has apparently been alive for like 2,000 plus years. Mm-hmm. He was there for Christ and everything, and he's seen kingdoms rise and fall. Mm-hmm. So, like, these guys, there's truth to what they proclaim.
But as to, again, we were just kind of talking about how what we liked ultimately about the movie is that.
I was about to tell them about it, but they need a backstory for those who.
Okay, go ahead.
So they're doing a thing, you know. They trap and kill this boy, but this girl, her Abra, she is the Anakin Skywalker of the movie, and she feels this boy's death all the way across the country. And she's already been kind of sort of talking with Dan via a chalkboard. But she feels it, Dan feels it when they kill this boy. And she watches them do it, and she's just like, no, these people are bad. These people have to go. So then she takes it upon herself, no prodding, to go out and find Dan, not knowing what he looks like, just by knowing the feel of his shine. And she goes out to find him, finds him, is like, okay, these guys killed this boy. I think I know how to find the boy because at the very least, the parents need the body. And Dan's like, no. If they found you, if they felt you and they found you, then they're going to be coming after you. You need to stop. Stop this right now. If these guys are as bad as you think, as bad as you say they are, they need to stop. And he sends her on her merry little way. And then, to up this girl's badass factor, the main bad girl of the show, the Hat,
Rosie the Hat,
goes and looks for her and like shines for her in their dreams. And she knew she was coming because she remembered what Dan had told her about they're going to be coming for you. And she laid a trap for this powerful woman. And she completely overpowers her. And she's just like, oh, okay. I've never really done this before, but okay, let's see what the inside of your head looks like. And she just goes into her head while she's in her head. And it's just...
I'm sure hearing you just recap that, if they haven't seen, that's going to be the most confusing statement that you've ever heard before. She goes in her head, which goes in her head. Like, the point is, and you kind of... I wanted to talk about her character kind of like a separate point and how kind of awesome she is. So, like, speed up to the... I know you're trying to recap so that you can make a point about... I don't know, the scene we were talking about or something.
I'm just talking about the movie now.
Okay, well then let's
spiraled.
Okay, let me get you back on track then, because we were trying to talk about specific talking points. Again, that was a good enough recap of the movie without going to every single little detail, I would say. So
they shot everyone.
That's where we kind of left off.
Basically, she goes back, get Dan, get the body, lay a trap, shoot everyone. It's like no mercy. Y'all killed people. You deserve it. She says that to them. You deserve it.
She does. She is very... I don't know.
I love the moral compass of this girl.
We'll get to her in a few minutes. But I wanted to talk about the reasons why people are kind of giving it a 75% or 60% rating, or why they don't. Why. Yeah. And then we can talk about that. And then, yes, we will talk about Abra's character, I promise. So, one thing people talked about was quote unquote lazy character development. Now, I know that sort of gears it towards Abra. We could talk about that, but I want to talk about her as her own separate category. So excluding her, which is going to be tough for you because you love her so much. But excluding Abra, if we're thinking about the other characters in the movie, one of the criticisms was lazy character development. Now, I disagree in the sense that everyone who needed to be developed was developed. And so Abra has her own category, which I'm going to put to the side for now. But Dan himself clearly had character development.
He had a whole movie's worth of character development.
Like first of all, you already know what the trauma he's experienced in the previous movie. Then you see how that trauma has affected him. Then you see him trying to overcome and not become his father. You see him conquer that. You see him, progress as a character. I don't know what more you could have possibly wanted as far as character development was concerned with regarding him. As far as any other characters, Rosie the Hat really didn't need to be developed that much.
But she was developed though, like.
I
can see not that, but she didn't need to be.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
she had too much. I think she had too much history for us to be invested in Rosie. That she's lived for hundreds of years.
Well, I don't know how long she's.
No, she's lived for hundreds. She says she's lived for hundreds of years. She's been doing this for hundreds of years.
Okay. I just, the only I remember her saying is like she hasn't made this offer in like 40 years. I didn't remember her saying how long she's been around, but that's fine. If she's been around for 100 years, girl looks good for over 100.
Right.
So, but my point is, yes, in this world where we have a movie like Joker, it's fantastic to have our villains developed and have a reason why they're going after things. But the point of her is that she is evil. Well, not evil. She wants to live long. In order to do that, you have to torture and kill and maim children and suck the essence out of them.
You have to eat well. That's all she wants to do.
That's all she wanted. So, like, why do I need a tragic backstory for her to figure out why is she doing what she does? No.
And when it comes to character development, they're like, okay, yeah, we saw Arthur Fleck transform from Arthur Fleck to I don't know who I am anymore to the Joker. Mm-hmm. We saw that transformation, but like the Joker that he's not better than Heath Ledger's Joker. What do we really know about Heath Ledger's Joker? Absolutely nothing. Character development, he had the same character from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. He was static. He did not change. You want to talk about no character development, lazy character development. He had no character development. He's the best Joker, bar none.
But let's yes. But
sorry, that kind of grinds my gears a little bit.
Yeah, you want a slight little deviation. But again, as far as the characters that needed to be developed, I think they were, which was really only Dan and Abra. Everyone else was just secondary to the plot to push them together. I don't need anybody else.
If anything, I wanted more of the ghost to be properly developed. Like I like a separate series where it's like kind of like American Horror Story, but with the ghosts of the hotel. Oh. So I can see exactly why they're like that. Mm-hmm. I guess I'd have to read the book for that, but still, like, it's fascinating.
So the other reason why people had character development was one thing. You let us know your thoughts on that. I think the characters that were fleshed out fine, and the ones that didn't need to be served their purpose for the movie. So whatever. The other thing people had a problem with was the runtime. They called it a punishing runtime, which because they're saying the movie is too long. And I got that, but
like, I enjoyed the ride.
Exactly. I was going to say, while I was sitting there, I was thinking, wow, this is a lot longer than I thought it was. But I didn't care about the length.
How long was The Shining?
It was over 2 or either almost, no, it was over 2 hours, I think. Oh, no, how long was The Shining? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said, I was thinking about this movie. I actually don't know how long The Shining was.
Because The Shining, I don't know, that felt long to me.
Oh shoot, that's not the right thing.
Yeah, The Shining felt long to me. I don't know how long that was. I know, like, if this is a sequel to The Shining, like...
Well, Stephen King notoriously hated The Shining.
He hated The Shining, yes, but it was still a great movie. It wasn't his movie. It wasn't his Shining. But it was still...
Okay, The Shining was 2 hours and 26 minutes.
So The Shining was
about... 2.5 hours.
And how long was Dr. Sleeper? I think it's around the same runtime length, actually. Might be a little longer.
It's 2 hours and 31 minutes. It's literally just like.
So you like The Shining?
Well, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say that even if you didn't like The Shining, you might like Dr. Sleep.
Maybe. I'm thinking maybe it's just that movies these days are just a little shorter.
That's what I was going to say. So what I was trying to say, because I didn't get to it because you asked the runtime of The Shining, so I didn't get to say my point. But when I was sitting there, I was thinking about the length of time, and I was thinking how other people would feel having sat here for this long watching a movie. And for the exact reason you just brought up, we're not used to anymore, I would say, watching lengthy movies like that, unless it's for like you went to the Avengers knowing it was going to be a big one. You know, you knew it was the last movie was going to be hella long.
Or a Peter Jackson movie.
Or yes. So like, unless you're like, I'm going into it knowing this, but I don't think anyone, especially if they was not really familiar with Dr. Sleep or anything like that, they were just probably going into it just to go into it, and you weren't expecting it to be long, then you might be like, oh my gosh, it's long. But I think it was, if it had been shorter, it would have suffered from pacing issues. And I think it was paced out really, really well.
It was. Like, I felt what I needed to feel. Like, I grew attached to the characters.
Yeah,
I definitely grew attached to the two main characters. I kind of felt something for his friend just a little bit.
I think it was paced like a book, and therefore I had an enjoyable experience. I didn't feel too rushed through it. I didn't feel like I missed any story. I felt like everything was, plotted well. So I had no problem with the runtime. I didn't know it was going to be that long going into it, so I could feel it because it was like, okay, it should be over now. I kept waiting for the ending.
I didn't feel.
I'm not saying that I feel that in a negative way. It was noticing.
No, I didn't even notice. I was just having that good of a time. Mm-hmm. You saw me in the theater. I was like, yes. Oh God, yes, they're making the smartest decisions.
So yeah,
okay. So after they shoot everyone, things happen. And she gets kidnapped in the end because the bad guys did their own little trick. Mm-hmm. And kudos to them because I didn't think that they would do that. Hey, I didn't think she was doing what she was doing. And the fact that they anticipated that she did that was smart on them. I get that. Like, that was a cool double play. But how the kidnapping gets resolved, that was just all sorts of interesting. How the kidnapping got resolved, that was great.
Okay.
All I can say is I hope it hurts.
I mean, I did like that moment. I was just that doesn't matter. I did like that moment as well.
Oh no! I know that tone. That's that was a butt tone.
It wasn't butt. But I was trying to stick to my order of things. So you keep jumping ahead of me. That's all. So it doesn't matter that you brought it up now. I just wanted to save all the moments about Abra for Abra's little section.
Okay. I mean, I didn't give anything away, so.
Okay, so talk about runtime. The other thing, this wasn't a negative thing, but I just want to know your thoughts on how do you feel about the lookalike casting? How do you feel about replacing Jack Nicholson and the mom?
I mean, yeah, okay. I liked everyone, I think, was except for Jack Nicholson's. I just wanted Jack back. I was looking, it's like, okay, I think he's supposed to be Jack, but I want Jack back. Jack, why didn't you come back, Jack?
Yeah, I thought it was just.
I wanted Jack back, not fake Jack. And I'm not talking about Jack Nicholson. I'm talking about Jack Torrance.
I thought it was interesting that they chose to reshoot all of the scenes, and it made it. I liked it and I disliked it. I liked it because, like, if you had never watched The Shining, if you're part of the new generation or whatever, and you watched the movie for what it was, it gave you backstory for the characters, but also, it referenced the previous movie, but you wouldn't, if you had never seen The Shining before, it means you didn't lose anything from it. But for people who have seen The Shining before and seen the classic characters, it really felt like weird seeing different characters playing the characters that we know.
Yeah.
I can understand budgeting, but what I expected to do was I kept waiting for a surprise where they had like CGI'd like they do nowadays, where they like de-age somebody, like they've done in the Will Smith Gemini movie recently, and all the other movies where they've done that.
Oh yeah, the critically acclaimed Gemini Man that has 37%.
Hey! I'm just saying, but you know where they put their money in? De-aging Will Smith.
Oh no! I'm just saying these critics and their
ratings. But yeah, so I kept expecting a surprise in which there was going to be a I don't know, altered Jack Nicholson playing the role he played before, and I was like,
or at least Paul Walker,
Whoa, what?
For Paul Walker's character, they used his brother and then just added like his face on his brother's.
Oh yeah, I know that. You just threw Paul Walker out of nowhere for me. Like when I was like, where'd that come from?
Get the lookalike and then put Jack Nicholson's
face on. Okay, like, I'm following you now. But I was like, why would you get Paul Walker? What? Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it was a good and a bad thing. Only because I was mildly disappointed. But at the same time, if you had never seen the previous movie, you were not missing out on anything.
Jack Nicholson is the only noticeable like departure though.
No, I noticed the mom, but
she was a good lookalike though.
I was gonna say she's a good lookalike and she has a good mannerisms. Like the actors they replace them with, they do the mannerisms very, very well of the characters they're playing. It was just threw me off because I know what they're supposed to look like. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really throw me off. I was like, oh, of course she's too old to play the part now, and this is a flashback. So of course they get another actress, but I'm fine with it because she does look just like her. So you know what? I'm down with this.
Yeah. Okay, so now the moment you've been waiting for. Literally, I've titled this section, "Can we adopt?" I think her name's Kaylee Curran, which is the Abra actress's name. So, can we adopt Kaylee, please?
Yes, I want to.
She is just, and this is just for me based on the actress alone, not even just how badass her character was, but just the actress's acting alone. Like child actors don't usually do it for me. Like they usually don't execute whatever they're supposed to perform very well, with the exception that I've always been a stan of Dakota Fanning when her acting when she was younger, because she was always very intelligent in her performances. And I see the same thing with Kaylee here. She's just perfect for the role. Like she was really good. She's so I know she's supposed to be, you know, well spoken. She's an actress or whatever, but she's just, I don't know. She's just, there's intelligence. that sounds rude. Like children don't have intelligence.
There's intelligence behind it.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about her that she's engaging and she grabs your attention.
She's really good. She's a really good actress, and she had some fantastic.
Her emotions are believable. Like she just did a really good job. So I was just impressed with her acting. Period.
Especially at Obi-Wan Kenobi as a mentor.
Okay, but yeah, speaking of, so Abra, what are some moments you loved about her? You've been talking about like hints of it throughout the discussion. But I was trying to save it for this moment.
How long do we have?
Not long, because we have to talk about the other film too.
Give me your favorite Abra moment first.
My favorite Abra moment?
Yes.
I'm gonna say my favorite moment is probably when she closed a Rosie the Hat's hand in her like filing cabinet drawer, and then was rifling through
her mind.
Yeah, and through her files and everything. Just because that was like straight up savage. I
didn't think that was gonna happen.
Neither did I.
That's a complete left turn.
Because usually you have like, if there's a child with powers, or the government wants the child, or someone wants the child for something, the child's always scared and like, I don't know how to control my powers. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. Help me. She set a trap for this woman. She set a trap for her and then executed it and succeeded at it, and it was
scared Rosie crap
and scared the audience too. I mean, it was just like, she's just a little savage. I was like, oh my god. So I just liked that. She just has gusto.
One of my favorite moments was when she Luke Skywalker them in the woods. I don't think you've seen the last Star Wars movie. I don't know how Force Awakens. It's the one that's so bad I can't even think of its name. Anyway, Luke Skywalker did this thing with the Force where he was all the way on one planet, but he astral projected himself somewhere else, which is exactly what she did. And the Star Wars mirrors continues. It's just, that's exactly what she did, and that's exactly like how they all died in the woods.
I also like the moment that you were bringing up earlier, but with her in the car.
But that wasn't her.
Yeah, it wasn't her, but I'm still, because I'm, gushing
I didn't think
I'm still gushing over the actress, so I'm just.
But I didn't think Dan had it in him.
That too. But I mean, you already put bullets in people's skulls. So
I didn't. He had that power.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like we've seen him control his shining. We've seen him
lock things in boxes.
Exactly, lock ghosts in boxes with his shining. But we've never seen him like actually do any power things with the shining, and he just Jesus, Dan.
Well, just that moment where where she's portraying him talking her little cocky attitude about everything, that I don't know, that gets me. It gets me laughing. But it was
really good. Like,
it was
was great.
It was a good moment. So speaking of good moments, sorry to leave Abra behind, but you actually kind of talked about her throughout the thing anyway. So she's fabulous. The final thing, the last two things I'm going to talk about. Final thing, main thing though, is like name like your favorite moment out of the film.
The woods.
The shooting scene in the woods?
Oh yeah, because it was just so perfect.
Mine is definitely going to be Dan back in the Shining Hotel, back in the hotel, unlocking his boxes. Because I knew that was going to have to happen.
I thought she was going to have to do it for him, though.
Something like that. But
because she wasn't there, she asked about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought she was going to do it for him.
But the fact that he had so many boxes, he's been keeping his mind and those things suppressed for so long, and he unleashes all of them. He's like, and they're hungry, and they go after Rosie, and that was just, I don't know,
because she was
it felt too quick, but it still was satisfying to see him be able to like let all that go. So that was my favorite moment.
It felt too quick because it was quick. That's what happens when a bunch of hungry ghosts come and they want the shine. And they're gonna get their shine. But for me, what was I saying beforehand?
You said, I was trying to speak about the moment of the boxes being unlocked, and then you were going to say something, but I was trying to finish, so I don't.
No, but what
you said the forest moment was your favorite.
Forest moment was my favorite, yeah. There was something else, too. Oh, yeah. I actually thought that when they were in his mind
Mm-hmm.
as a distraction, making her think it was her mind,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that he was going to unleash them there.
Me too.
I thought she was going to... I kept on... Because, okay, so what happens is, while they're in the hotel, they set a trap for her. And Rosie the Hat. They set a trap for Rosie the Hat while they're in the hotel. And they paralyze her, and they go, and she tries to invade the little girl's mind. But they put her in Dan's head, and inside, and what Dan's head looks like is the maze from the Overlook Hotel, the outside maze covered in snow. And they're just running throughout the maze, and you as the audience knows that somewhere in this labyrinth are those boxes. And every time she turned a corner, I was thinking, when is she going to bump into these boxes? She's going to think there's some dirt in these boxes, and she's just going to go and just open these boxes and just get completely devoured right then and there.
Or they'd be hiding around the maze, like he'd unleash them, and they were just literally hiding throughout the maze. And like,
I was surprised when he tried to box her. I was like, how does that work? She's physically...
She's not human anymore.
Are you going to have a person in your head this entire time?
I mean, I don't know what power Dan has, so...
So now that I'm finished completely gushing, what would you rate this movie?
So I would rate this movie, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. That's an A. And I really, really enjoyed it for all the moments that I talked about. I think I'm so glad they didn't get an annoying child actress. I think there was a good enough character development, and I thought the villain was interesting, and the concept was interesting, which is more credit to Stephen King than, the movie itself. But it was an enjoyable time. It didn't feel... I knew it was long because I'm used to seeing shorter movies now, but I didn't feel put out by the fact that it was longer. I felt like I was kind of just watching a book unfold and watching it unfold well, that nothing was like taken away or lacking from it. The reason why I'm taking off like half a star is because I kind of wanted to see the powers of the other like shining people or the other vampire like people in Rosie's troop. Like we didn't really get to see anyone else's.
I didn't care.
Well, in my opinion, I would have liked.
No, I'm just saying I didn't care. I just wanted them all to die.
That's fine, but we saw the snake, right? We saw her power. She's a pusher or whatever, right? And we got to see Rosie's power. I kind of wanted to see like them, even if it was only just for like a moment.
What is like Rosie's boyfriend's power?
I don't know, because we didn't get to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have liked to see.
We'll check the wiki.
I would have. No, I'll read the book. I would have liked to see just that. Just like maybe like in the forest scene, there was a moment where like everything's going to hell and they start trying to unleash stuff, but they get a bullet through the skull. Like just like a little glimpse of what I could possibly do. But then it like gets, because that would have been funnier to be honest. They was like, I'm about to do this epic thing, bullet through the skull. You can't do anything, you know? I don't know. So that's
unlimited cosmic power. Bullet to the skull.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. Things a half a star, and maybe and I don't think that's still poor character development. I still would have just liked to see a little bit more from the others, because that would have made them more menacing to me rather than what they were. So that's all. What about you?
If I give Joker a 4.5, I give this
you gave Joker a 5 out of 5.
5. If I give Joker,
so now you got to downrate it.
If I give Joker a 5 out of 5, I'll give this movie a 4.5.
You give this movie a 4.5.
I enjoyed this movie more,
but
I admit that Joker was deeper. Joker had layers upon layers. This movie just felt like a good time for me. Like there were some layers, but there's nothing to really think about after it. It's just like you've seen the movie, you've seen what happened. It's pretty cut and dry. But Joker, at least you're like, what did I just watch? So did this really happen?
Joker, as I said in our Joker review, kind of left me unsettled. And I agree with your assessment that this kind of it wrapped up everything in a bow, and it was just like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I saw everything. It kind of explained for me, and everything's good to go. And we go. Life goes on after we die. That's it.
So now that that's done, Maleficent 2.
Yes, so we're going to talk about Maleficent 2.
Sequel to Maleficent 1.
There you go. Well, I meant 2 as in T-O-O. But there you go. Talking about Maleficent. So, you're going to have to carry... Well, I have opinions on things, but also I was not, like, a fan of this franchise. I'm saying that now so the audience knows, like, that skews my viewpoint about it. This movie didn't really change my mind about the franchise, though I enjoyed 2 more than 1, which you forced me to see.
By gunpoint.
Yeah, essentially. I don't know. I'm not into these live action Disney remakes. The only one I care about is Mulan, and they've already messed that up. So
I like Maleficent 2 better than Maleficent 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do appreciate how Disney's adding their own lore to things for once,
mm-hmm.
instead of just lazily redoing what's already there.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. I'm going to acknowledge that right now. But there are some things in this movie that I do not agree with.
It's mostly ending stuff. Everything else, like the
character of Aurora, her whole character.
Yeah. I know you have problems with her character. I have fewer problems with her character because I feel like she's stuck in the role that she's been forced to play since birth. And by that I mean
a Disney princess.
Yeah, but also because the fairies gave her like gifts, which kind of forced her to be a certain way for most of her life.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fairies' gifts.
So like you're gifting someone the ability to, like, you always have to be happy kind of thing. And then sure, there was times where she had experienced some sadness, but not really. So that would have completely skewed her viewpoint and made her more naive, in my opinion, about what's going on in life. So I can't be mad at her for being naive.
Again, the fairies effed up like they did throughout her entire childhood.
Yeah. So I'm saying I can't be mad at Aurora's character because she was kind of forced into this role since birth.
It was just so dumb. Okay, so but my first thing, everything was going so well, and my first thing that really made me upset was when they went to dinner with Prince Philip's family with the queen, who the audience obviously knows is evil.
Mm-hmm.
Evil is sin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just trying to set Maleficent up. They invite Maleficent to dinner, and she's just testing Maleficent at every turn, at every single turn, just trying to piss her off. And so Maleficent, of course, is like, I know what you're trying to do. I'm not doing it. She pops off. She's like, no one's going to toy with me like this. Puts off her green energy everywhere. And like, not even just like a direction, just like a pulse. And then after that pulse, the king is standing up. And the king's all like, okay, let's calm down. This not because the king legitimately wants peace. But the queen's just like, I won't have it. This, that. I'm a warmonger. So then the king suddenly falls ill right then and there, right in the middle of one of his talking points. She's just like, Maleficent has placed a curse on the king. And I'm just like, Aurora, do something. You've seen how her magic works. She didn't curse the king. She didn't chant or anything. She can't just do a curse just for waving her fingers. There has to be a setup behind this curse. Like, Aurora, you know this. You've lived with the fairies your entire life. You know how magic works.
Mm-hmm.
Say something. Do something. And she's just there like, oh, you cursed him. How? I'm just like.
So first off, she ain't loyal. But again, like I said, I'm more forgiving of her because I feel like she basically is forced to become the person that she is right now. So whatever to that. But yes, she's not a loyal. That did annoy me that she immediately, like, this is the woman who raised you essentially, and then you immediately switched off to your new family.
Mm-hmm. I was so, because they're human.
Yeah. So the other thing.
We'll get to the ending. So basically, what they did is they made more Maleficents. She's the most powerful one of her tribe, of course,
for whatever reason.
because she's the reincarnation.
Well, we are going to talk about why like the weirdness of her being the Phoenix, but
yeah. So basically, Dark Fae, all the Dark Fae, basically. After that whole thing, they curse the king. She tries to fly away. She's like, you know what? Screw this crap. I'm out. And they shoot her with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead bullet, because lead, iron shell goes inside her wing or whatever, her arm.
Pierced her side.
It pierced her, so she couldn't do magic. She falls, and another Dark Fae plucks her out the water and takes them to their thing and heals her and patches them up. patches her up. Half these Fae want war. The other half just want to live in peace. And we find out a lot about what Maleficent's backstory, which is I like the world building. I appreciate it. It was really interesting. Like Maleficent, she's not just a powerful Fae, she's just not the only one of her kind. There's like desert dark, I would say dark elves, a desert dark Fae and jungle dark Fae with like rainbow colored wings, like parrots, parrots and toucans and stuff. Those type of wings. There's little children who are just learning how to fly inside their sanctuary, and that's adorable. And it's so nice to see that there's not just one, but of course, they're being pushed to the brink of extinction because, of course, humans.
Yeah.
So then, all leads to, of course, war.
So let's talk about the war and the Queen's actions during the war. Now, this is my main problem with kind of like.
Are we gonna talk about the chamber first?
Yeah, so I was gonna talk about.
Okay, can I set the stage for this?
Sure. Okay.
So, the Queen goes ahead with this wedding to her son, right?
It's a red wedding. Oh my god!
It is a red wedding. The Queen has been kidnapping Fae from the forest and is experimenting on them, and she's found a way to basically make fairies disintegrate with this special powder. They either disintegrate or they become what their base is. Like if there's a Fae that's based on a flower, it just becomes a flower and that's it. So what happens is they let all the Fae in the woods, or at least most of the Fae in the woods, go into the chapel so that to Princess Aurora's wedding. And they lock Princess Aurora away because she finds this out finally through snooping. So they lock her away. All the Fae are waiting for her in the chapel. And then they just gas chamber them like Hitler.
Yep.
Like it was
a literal gas chamber. They literally trapped them inside with the pretense that, like they were going to be at a wedding and started a genocide. Yeah,
they blocked the doors so they couldn't leave. And
now it's a Disney version of a genocide, but it's still a genocide.
Fae-side.
Fae-side, or we think we said fairy-side.
Yeah, fairy-side.
And so the problem we had with this scene, I don't have a problem with the gas chamber scene. I thought that was actually really savage for a Disney movie.
It was.
Like, damn, Disney, you're trying to keep that pattern of having dark things in your movies, and then you find out in childhood, like, how effed up it is.
Exactly.
I mean, later when you're an adult.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, obviously they have to bring these characters back. These characters were the main protectors of the woods, so they have to bring them back. So, nope.
Yeah, they're just kind of like
they're dead.
Yeah. So
in the first movie, there was this big tree guy that Maleficent has known since she was a child. He's been protecting the woods, and he gives up his life to protect the three fairies. Right as I thought they're about to get the axe, and I was overjoyed, he gives up his life and gets basically in front of the gas. And he just dies. And I'm just like, not him! Not for them!
So they killed them Disney style, as in they didn't want to show the actual deaths or anything, but they made them into flowers and whatnot. But my problem with this is that you literally made the Queen Hitler. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's Hitler.
She's Hitler.
But then, for her punishment...
we didn't even talk about the war.
I'm sorry. That's my main problem with the Queen is, so I was jumping to the ending. But
they kill so many dark Fae.
They kill a bunch of them. And she's just standing there like cackling on top of the tower while it's happening.
Like it is a massacre. She used this gas to just kill so many of these dark Fae. And we've seen some of these Fae. They were lovers. They were brothers, sisters, friends. And we see their grieving. And we just see them all just die horrifically.
Horrifically.
I am just pissed. I can't even speak right now. I am pissed. And I'm just like, okay, my one hope is that Maleficent is this Phoenix character. So, of course, she can bring them all back because they will all rise from the ashes and everything will be good as new. Nope.
Just her.
Nope.
I mean, I do think it was cool that they did kill off Maleficent and like had her stick true to her character of being a mom, whatever, to this girl, even though she had betrayed her. But then they brought her back, so I was like, okay. But can I talk about?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So again, Queen is literal Hitler, but her punishment, even though she made a gas chamber and killed a bunch of people. And by a bunch of people, like these hundreds. These are the new queens or her son's fiancés, family members essentially. She loved them like family at the very least.
Those of you who are married, just kill off all of your exes, all of your husbands or wives, your spouses.
Please don't stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that, please.
It's okay. Disney says it's okay because this will happen.
Okay, your only punishment is that you'll get turned to a goat.
That was it.
Yeah, I have a major problem with that. We have mass genocide. Our only punishment is going to be an animal,
a goat.
That's it. Why? Because she does, because she has to be a creature that's not known for being, I don't know, clean or something. I don't know, because it just seems. I
would have turned to a donkey so I can call her an ass. Well, that would have been clever.
That would have been clever.
It wouldn't have been good enough, but it would have been clever at the very least.
She needed at least to be locked in a tower or something.
Killed. No, she needed to be killed.
Well, they didn't want to kill in the movie is the point, even though they killed people in the movie. They killed all the non-humans in the movie, no problem. But when it came to the humans, yeah, I was going to say, you said it.
Racist.
That they just turned her into a goat, and I wasn't happy with that. It just felt unsatisfying.
There's only one black man in that entire kingdom. All the rest of the minorities were the fairies, and they all got slaughtered.
That's true. Yeah, well.
It's the white man keeping everything down.
Okay. No, it just seemed unsatisfying for that reason. So yeah, that was. I'm like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the franchise. I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more because I liked the additional lore that they threw into this film.
Oh, always more lore.
I thought it was just the wings and everything were beautifully done.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
She wasn't mutilated this time around.
Yeah, ooh, that was bad from last time. But so yeah, if I was gonna get a rating, well, I'll let you start with the rating because
3.
Okay.
No, 3.5.
3.5.
This is 3.5.
All right, I give it.
I can't get over that ending.
I give it a heavily biased 2 because it's just not my. It's not my thing.
I can't get over that ending. I can't.
And the ending was very unsatisfying. But what I like to do is watch these types of movies when I'm sick and it requires no
brain power.
So as something to just literally just watch if you're half drugged up. I was gonna say half drugged up on sleep medication or something, then yeah, watch Maleficent. There you go. There's my rating. All right.
Now it's time for this other stupid thing.
So we're gonna continue. Well, it's not from the Reddit question of the day, but it is something we found that we thought was interesting that we wanted to just talk about.
We'll get back to the Reddit question of the day later.
It's just an interesting talking point that we wanted to bring up because it's so weird. And for me, it's blasphemy. But go ahead.
Blasphemy for a lot of people.
So, have you guys heard of the new ABCs?
Why would you? The alphabet is sacred.
And sorry for veering off the movie thing, but we kind of just had to talk
random,
about this.
Nerdy.
That's right.
Stuff.
Yeah, you're right. We're transitioning.
We can talk about whatever we want. So we're talking about this now.
Okay, so yeah.
We're talking about this now.
So, new alphabet.
Oh my God!
What is the new alphabet, Yoko?
I can't even, I'm not even going to. I apologize for putting this in everyone's ears.
So listen close. Well, first we all know the regular alphabet. Yes, get that song in your head. Hear the alphabet of your childhood that you sang.
You know what? No, we can do it right now. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P.
Break it down now.
Q R S T U V.
Okay.
W X Y and Z.
There we go. Okay. So everyone has that classic song in your head. But here is new alphabet.
And it is wrong.
But don't spoil it for them. Let's hear it.
Okay, we're gonna hear it. And I'm sorry for this in advance.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z.
No.
What?
No.
My ears feel like they've been murdered. Like you hear it in the song and you're like, okay, I'm going with it, and then it's just like, what? What?
No.
What did you do to this song?
It's just no.
So why does there have to be, and this is such a 2019, and I hate to rag on millennials because everyone rags on me and like says, you're millennial, what do you know? But
this is the first world of first world problems.
Yeah, but like, why do we need a new alphabet song? What was the purpose of designing this?
Because they thought that apparently kids think LMNOP is one letter.
So we say it so quickly in the original song. They think LMNOP is one letter, so we had to make distinctions, thus changing the entire beat of the song.
Or you could say no, LMNOP are all different letters.
Yeah, my problem with this is not even necessarily the song, even though it literally butchers my soul to hear it.
My problem is the song.
My problem is why I'm not saying the song itself, like someone wanted to make that for fun, then fine, whatever. But my problem is that someone thought that we needed a new alphabet instead of thinking, why don't I teach my child myself that there are different letters of the alphabet? Why instead of just teaching them, let's make it less complicated for something that hasn't complicated generations. It has not complicated things for anybody.
Right? It's only
I don't know, but
the internet has some great things, but I think it actually makes people, a vast majority of privileged people, stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it frustrates me just from an academic level, and I was just the ABCs. But we already try to spoon feed so much to people, to children. We spoon feed them everything. We make things like the least amount of challenge that we could possibly give to them, right?
Participation trophies, anyone?
Yeah, sure. Like, everything's a participation point and no real push for like excellence. At least this is just, again, my opinion. But like there's no push for like actually inquiring about things anymore. Or at least from what I've seen in my observations, I see that children seem to be less inquisitive about things. We hand them a tablet, we tell them to Google it, and that's it. And they can't even search for things properly because they if it doesn't immediately come up in the first result, they don't know what to do with themselves. So my point is, like, instead of, well, let's make it so easy for them and just rewriting everything about the alphabet. Why not just sit down with your child and open a book of the ABCs and show them that they're different letters? I don't know anyone our age who is literate who does not know that there are different letters of the alphabet. Yeah. So what's the point of changing the song? It just is a pointless and stupid endeavor.
It is.
I don't know why I'm so outraged about it, other than it butchers my ears to hear it. But it's like, it's just dumb.
It's because of what it represents.
Stupidity?
It represents laziness.
Yeah, I don't know.
People don't want to spend the time and effort to properly teach things anymore. Like, it's so easy to teach your child the alphabet. I've known it. You've known it. Everyone who's listening knows the alphabet song.
Well, maybe I'm seeing it as well. I'm going to try to stay open-minded and let anyone who's listening give us feedback, because maybe I'm not seeing it from a proper perspective. Maybe there is a problem out there for some children, because I know there are people who have like genuine learning.
If it helps.
I know there are people who have genuine learning disabilities, and maybe for those children, it is helpful to have a different song to hear the distinctions between everything. So maybe that's the perspective that I'm missing, that why this would be a necessity. But other than that, it just seems stupid and pointless.
It's not like it's going to be seeing it like that. Yeah, I guess if there was specific people targeted for the song that could help them, yeah, sure, that's great. But they're trying to replace the alphabet song with this.
Yeah.
Completely replace it. Now, if it was just there as a secondary option,
yeah,
and kids had the choice of which one do you want to learn with, this song or this song, then okay, fine. At least they have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't giving a choice. This is just like, oh no, our kids don't know the distinction because we assume they don't know the distinction. So, let's just change how we've done things.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know. For me, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, I think there's always room for improvement, but this is not an improvement. Yeah, this is not an improvement to me. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts on either Dr. Sleep if you've seen it, Maleficent if you've seen it, or even if you haven't seen it, just your thoughts and opinions on what we've said, or the new alphabet song. Do you think there is a necessity for a new alphabet? Are we missing a perspective here?
It's only a slight for the people that really need it. That's my stand on it. For the people who really need it.
Yeah. Okay, so
I think that's it.
Yeah. That's it. Again, let us know your thoughts, and if you want to comment, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, those are the avenues. So thanks for listening, guys.
And if you guys have anything that you want us to cover, games, movies, can even be board games if you guys want. We're down for some board games.
Yeah, we definitely have one in mind that we'd love to play, or a card game anyway that we'd love to play.
We might get to that later, another episode.
Okay, so
we'll see you guys later.
Play us out. Before you go, please give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to continue talking with us about nerdy stuff, follow us on Twitter at Yoko Nox, or on Facebook, facebook.com/RNS Yoko Nox. We upload every Tuesday on anchor.fm/Yoko Nox, and also places like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and many others. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you there.